me, Lisa Kennedy, and I'm very excited to announce that this episode is sponsored by Creative Spark Theatre Arts, and I know they're wonderful because I have had the pleasure of working with Creative Spark Theatre Arts. They're in Kirkintilloch. Their motto is all about being bold, being brave, being you, which is very on brand with the Braw and the Brave. And actually, recently I've been working with an amazing group of young people who have created their own podcast. So you need to go to the links down below and find their podcast, which is called Creative Speaks. And honestly, these young people are so eloquent. We've had lots of different kind of conversations, including ones about politics, about incel culture, about imposter syndrome, all sorts. So I would really implore you to go and check out their podcast. They are awesome. But thank you to Creative Spark Theatre Arts for sponsoring this episode. And while I'm on it, I'm going to remember all the socials. Please go and check us out on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all of that good stuff. And if you're not a Patreon subscriber, guys, get on it. Thanks. We've got lots of lovely content on there as well. I'm going to stop blathering to you because I've got a very exciting guest sitting right there. It's right there. It's Shereen Cutkelvin.
Hello.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's funny to be on this side of the table.
It is. It's relaxing, but it's also like kind of weird because then I'm like, oh, have I like stopped researching my questions? I'm, oh no, I don't have any questions. I'm good.
You're good. You can just relax.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely not going to grill you. We're just having a blather. We're just having a blather. Thank you so much for doing this, Shereen. I know how crazy busy.
Well, not at all. Thank you so much for having me. And we've been talking about it for a wee minute as well, so it's good to be here, apart from my terrible driving on the way in. But I made it. We're in one piece.
Made it one piece. So good. I'm like, you've had your chamomile tea?
I have, yeah. So I'm feeling good. It's worked.
I'm glad. Well, listen, this is just a blather. This is just a blather because you are Braw and Brave for sure. Like, and I've been following sounds like stalkerish. I've been following your career for some time now. I'm massively inspired by you. I think
thank you so much.
I was saying to you off camera, like, you're totally bossing it. You do everything.
Thank you.
And you do everything really, really well.
Well, I'm glad you're saying that because I feel like I do everything averagely. So.
Not at all. Absolutely not. And the thing is, like, I guess managing your time between radio presenting, TV presenting, being an actor, and then being an artist in your own right, like that's a lot of plates to be spinning.
To be honest, it was hard. Like and there was not anyone that I could really look to before and see. Because usually when you go into a room, like when I was doing like recording studio stuff or going to labels, they really want to put you into a box. So the minute you say, actually, I've got so many different dreams, they're just like, no, you need to pick one. And the amount of people have told me you need to pick one direction. And then I'm just like, well, surely you can do everything that you're passionate about. And I know it's like, you know, it's going to be a percentage of time going into this, the percentage of time going into that. And realistically, it's probably going to take longer to get the success that you want to achieve. And however, I feel like it can be done. You just need to pick and choose. And sometimes it's like, you know, 100% will go into one avenue and then you have to take a break and go into other ones. But yeah, it's been going good slowly but surely.
I'm glad you said that though, because I've had this conversation a couple of times and I certainly feel like one of those people, not that I'm bothered about what everybody else is saying. I mean, they're saying the stuff. We know we know, and you'll know they're saying the stuff. They'll speak whatever they want to speak, but that kind of thing. Like sometimes people will be like, "What's she up to now?" But and I think all your passions do feed into. I mean, the reason why this podcast exists is like I'm in the dance world, I'm in the arts world. I was meeting lots of interesting people, getting to work with them, and I thought I want to know more. So that's kind of why this podcast started.
Yeah.
So if I hadn't been in the dance world, this would be a thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think they all speak to each other in some way, shape or form. And the lessons that you've learned along the way and the people, the connections, it only lives to like serve you and whatever you're kind of putting your, like you're saying, put your energies into at this moment in time.
Yeah. I always say like, so music for me was like the roots of my tree kind of growing up, and everything else has been the branches that have kind of grown from that original dream. But as you said, it all kind of fits into each other, and you know what I've learned in presenting I can take into acting, or I can take into singing and being on stage and things like that. It all really just kind of intertwines with each other. And I feel like I've been growing a lot from diving into different avenues, which is also terrifying. I feel like my nervous system's like, whoa, slow down, give me a chance.
Give me the chamomile tea on.
Literally. Chamomile tea, and I use this little Camin spray. Oh, it's a belter. It's like my lifesaver. It's so good.
Oh, I might
so
need that
good.
in my life.
It's literally basically just like chamomile and herbs, and you just give it like a wee scoosh, and you're brand new. It's so good. It's so good.
Love it. You know, the tips and the brand new. Love it. So I love that vision, that analogy of the tree.
Mm-hmm.
So the seeds of that tree, what did they look like? What's your beginnings?
So it was all kind of passion and inspiration was from my dad, actually. So he was a professional singer, and growing up, had the best memories, like just watching Dad sing, and like even just sneaking into his rehearsal rooms and all that kind of stuff. So I'm from a family like of 6 kids, and I'm like in the middle. So I always remember, like my dad was saying to me, because he was in the band, one of the band singers was like, "Oh, does your boys not sing?" And they did actually want to sing, but they were also quite popular. So it wasn't really cool to sing back then, especially in high school. You know, you don't want to be the guy that's singing, the popular kid that's singing.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, I wasn't popular, and I was like in the wee misfits groups.
Well, I massively identify with that. So, not that I'm saying I'm cool now, but I'm like, I was that kid.
So I wasn't bothered about any of that. And yeah, I used to go in and sneak into my dad's rehearsals and watch him and my uncle and my cousin sing and my auntie. So it was all like family groups. Yes. And I was like, oh God, I want to do that. And then eventually, I mean, do you know what happened? They were singing, and my cousin was trying to get one of the harmonies. And I wasn't even trying to be cocky enough, and I just went, whoo, or whatever it was. And my dad was like, see, she can do it.
Got it.
And then I was like, oh my God, why did I just do that?
That's
and
just
then
that natural innate ability to hear that and get it. Love it.
And then he's kind of started bringing me into rehearsals, and then he pretty much trained me from, I didn't know anything. I just kind of was watching. And then I was a very, very shy kid actually as well, like extremely shy. So, it just so happens that I've picked careers that you have to be like an extrovert. And I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. Introvert, extrovert. And
real.
I think that's true of a lot of people in the industry. I think that's very true. And
I always find it so interesting when people say that as well. It's like you would never think looking at like
well, that's what I'm saying about you. And I'm like, oh, you're a boss, and you're like, oh, I'm just winging it. And I'm like, but that's, I guess it's just like, if you just got to switch on, it's like a performance sometimes. But all the way you've got to have that kind of sense of like looking after yourself and listening to your gut of what's important for you and what you need. Because when you are putting yourself out there, and especially in an industry where it's so, I guess, precarious and uncertain, then you need to be constantly going, what do I need as a human?
Yeah.
You know, and
that's
what
why
you're
I've been
fueling
like
yourself with.
Meditating recently. It's like my holy grail. Box breathing.
Great.
Or just like gratitude things at night, just kind of resetting a bit. But I get it from my dad actually as well. So he was actually psychic. So I feel like So I had a very blessed childhood to kind of see all these things and open up different doors, and also to be like a child and say, hey, I want to be in the performing arts and not kind of get shut down. I know a lot of people's parents would shut it down and say, get a real job. And then you're like, well, it is a real job.
Well, if your dad's doing it and you're like, how inspiring though if you're seeing somebody that you look up to and they're doing it, they're living and breathing it, and it's very norm. You're brought up in an environment where music is your life,
and that was like bread and butter and feeding 6 kids, and my mum had her own promotions company and stuff like that, and then she eventually stopped that because obviously there was just so many of us today's. But it was good because you get to see the flip side of it as well, and how it's not all glitz and glam, and there was often away missing birthdays and things like that, and here, there and everywhere. So it was always like, it's good to see, the flip side and not go into it completely naive and know that.
Yeah, because I think people have got this idea of like, it is glamorous and like, it's great to be doing something you love, and you're like, absolutely. I mean, literally, I'm so lucky to be doing something I love. But equally, that doesn't mean that it's not hard work. That I'm not a big fan of the, if you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And I'm like, if you do something you love, you'll work twice, 3 times as hard. Sorry. Literally. Because you're like holding on to that dream. You're like, I need to make this work.
It's so true.
And nothing's I guess nothing in life, and especially in life now with jobs and stuff, like nothing's a given. So it's not all handed to you and easy.
Yeah, I feel like as well, just going off the back of what you're saying, like there's not much. When people will go to work and they'll have their work hours, whereas like you might go to work and then you might come back afterwards and you're still working afterwards.
I'm working all the time. When does that stop?
That's one thing that I was like, okay, right, maybe if I do, I'm such a scatterbrain, which you'll probably...
I'm your pal.
You'll
Many
probably find
tabs
that out.
open in the
yeah.
brain. Yeah.
And then you go from one, and that's literally what my life is. And I'm like, oh crap, what was I doing earlier on? And then you go back to it, and then before you know it, it's like 12 o'clock at night, and then you're still doing whatever it is you set out to do at the start of the day.
Thank you for saying that. Because then sometimes, I mean, like, so I'm like 43 now, so I'm like, that is the way I roll. And, you know, you give yourself a hard time for that. Like, I should be more organised. I should be more on it. Like, mum's always telling me to write a list. I'm like, I've got my 45 lists. Yeah. And I'm like, I guess if that is just who you are.
Yeah.
And you can't necessarily finish that entire task before you move on to the next one. Because, and I guess in your line of work, because there are so many tabs open, if you like, and so many strands, then you're being asked a lot of yourself from different people at different times, and you've just kind of got to be reactive.
Yeah, of course.
You know?
I do feel it's like... people have told me before, like, do the reminders. I'm like, okay, brilliant. Do the reminders, and then they don't help because I forget to look at the reminders, or they'll buzz up and I'm doing something at the time, and then I'm forget.
Look at that reminder later on.
But I end up getting these things. It was actually for children. I seen it on Amazon, and it was like a wee checkbook, like a notice board basically. And I mean, I feel like again I've probably got a child mind. Like I like the interactive thing of like checking off the list. I've done that.
You've accomplished something.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was helping until I stopped using it. But we'll get there one day.
Don't fix it. You're making it all work. You're ticking along. You got here at one piece.
True. I was 10 minutes late though, so I'm sorry.
You have a cup of tea. We're absolutely fine. And I'm interested in terms of the music side of things. Like, what kind of music were you listening to growing up with your dad, and what was your influences musically? Because I guess because I came from a house full of music, you know, and my sister and I played guitar. My dad's a guitarist, so very much influenced by my dad's. My mum and dad have the same taste in music, but then my mum had her music that we would listen to on a Sunday night when we were getting our hair washed.
Oh, sick.
You know what I mean? Like, and then I guess you find your own. I mean, I was a huge, and still am a huge Michael Jackson fan growing up. So like, but my parents didn't listen to Michael, so I'm just interested in what your musical influences were.
I feel like I'm quite old school, so my dad was in like soul bands and like Motown and things like that. So when he toured with like Benny King and Dionne Warwick and things like that. So
I did swap opinion. I was
did you?
Wow, what a back catalogue to me.
So yeah, I was always listening to The Temptations, Smokey Robinson. Like there's little videos of us in the VHS, like dancing around to Smokey and Michael and all that kind of stuff. So it's always a very like Motown based background, and I pretty much didn't. I feel like I'm a creature of habit when it comes to that. Like I will rinse a song until I get a wee bit bored of it, and then I'll rinse it a wee bit more, and I'm like, okay, it's time to move on.
Okay,
but like Motown, if you went on my playlist now, it's pretty much Motown, soul music, 60s music. I'm loving jazz. See, when I'm cooking at night, a wee bit of jazz music, wee glass of red wine. Oh, it's so good.
Nice.
And then the other one song that's slipped through the cracks for me that is more recent is Olivia Dean, Man I Need. Oh, I love it. It's so good. But it's got the old school influence as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Another just like cool cat for sure.
Yeah.
Like, oh, love it.
Such a banging track.
Yes.
I listen to that in the morning actually. It just cheers me right up because I feel like it sets you off for the day.
Beautiful.
But yeah, pretty much just old school sounds, and you never really hear anyone usually saying that nowadays. So then when somebody does say it, I'm like, yes, best buddies. Like I love hearing like people that listen to the old school stuff. And then similar to all my siblings and that, they're all pretty much the same. But my younger brother, he kind of went in, and my eldest, not my eldest. There's so many of us. My younger brother and one older than me, Kyle, they kind of went into more like rap and stuff like that. So they've got different influences. But I just stuck to, I was boring.
Talented family indeed. And can I just say it, and I'm going to gush, your voice is insane.
Thanks so much.
I watched a video the other day and my partner was like, whoa, my partner's a singer.
Oh, nice.
Like you were, and to us, you were, I mean, I think you were literally just, you were just singing. You were just singing for the joy of singing. And oh my God, riffing up the way up the down. Oh my, it's such control. Your voice is like so pure velvet. Oh, I love your voice.
Appreciate it. I feel like that's all down to my dad's training over the years. But I don't remember I used to riff that much. I think it was maybe just a wee note here and there. And then I always remember my dad saying that to me, like, because a lot of R&B singers, they do a lot of riffs here, and it's beautiful, but the style of singing I do is a wee bit different. But so I like putting a wee bit, like, he always used to say it's like jewellery, so he's like, you know, if too much jewellery can look a bit, what's the word?
Garish maybe, a bit too much over the top.
And a bit, I guess it makes it all I'm thinking is classy, not trashy, but that's my mum saying that's a different one. But it's too much. Aye. And then he was like, just a wee bit here, a wee bit there. It's like if you're wearing a nice watch.
Sometimes when I'm like, right.
Yeah,
we know you can go there.
Exactly, but it's like exactly. And then you pick and choose a wee bits, and then it's like, whoa, where did that come? You want to rewind it back. So that's what I was trying to do.
It's beautiful. You got such control over your voice. It's stunning, absolutely stunning. Jeez. So, what was that the goal then? Music for like in terms of pursuing some sort of career or some sort of passion?
Yeah. So since I was, I've been quite lucky in knowing what I wanted to do since I was a young age. School was never for me, which I should probably not say when I work on a kids' TV show as well.
Listen, no, but I work with a lot of young people, and that's the thing. I think there's so much pressure put on young people.
Yeah.
And you're like, you have to find your tribe, you have to find your thing to get through it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the be all and end all, and it isn't the be all. So if you're not having a nice time or you don't feel like you fit in or whatever, like unfortunately, we do need to go to school unless you're going to be homeschooled or whatever. Mm-hmm. But like,
there's different avenues.
Don't put the pressure on yourself to think that's it, because it's not. That's like literally the beginning of the story.
It's so true. The only thing I was like gutted I missed was like the dance at the end of the school. That was about like, I guess. I was like, do you know when you watch all the American movies and that, you're like, oh, that would have been good.
They've all went pure Americanised now, like pure getting limos and all that to their school proms and all that now.
But I'd left, so I left at 16. So I always knew, like, I think it was like, so basically I started really auditioning and going down to London and things like that when I was like 13, 14. And that was all thanks to my mum, really. Just, she was like a manager really for me. So my dad would train me, and then my mum would like, find all the contacts and say, put me on Spotlight and things like that, and all the casting agents, and then really push it. So I always knew from young that I wanted to move to London at 18. And I remember telling my parents, and they were like, no, it's 16.
Yeah.
I told them at 16, they were like, no, that's too young. You can maybe speak about it when you're 18. And I was like, little do you know, I know I'm moving. And I didn't, I only used to get like, £2.50 a day for my school lunch or whatever. I couldn't afford to go to London.
I'm getting on that bus.
Literally, but it was all due to, I was really, really good at manifesting when I was young. And I'm getting back at it now, which is good. I feel like I lost my way for a wee bit for years. But it's been a journey. But I was manifesting this, right? And I remember being in my wee bunk bed, stayed in a town called Biggar. And my wee sister was up in the bunk bed before me. And anyway, I would literally envision me on stage in an arena and hear the crowd. I could literally physically hear them shouting in that. And that exact vision came to life. So I'm skipping a bit, but long story short, I got signed to a band, Neon Jungle. And I remember us being like literally on that same stage that I envisioned. And I heard them and I just had these tears coming down my eyes because I was like, this is so real. Like, I literally, like, I was in my wee bunk bed in Biggar imagining this. And I was so determined that it happened. Basically happened through getting signed, and they paid for my apartment for the first year. Okay. So that's how it was doable. And then we were chucked in at the deep end and had to pay for it ourselves.
Oh, yeah. And how was that London life, being in the band?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I was 16, so I was straight out of high school, and then
so brave, by the way, so brave.
Yeah, well, to be honest, when I look back at myself, like young Shereen, I'm thinking to myself now, I'm like, oh God, now I'm like, get anxiety and all that. I'm thinking, I never used to get any of that back then, do you know what I mean?
Honestly, I hear you, because like the stuff that I did when I was younger, I'm like, I need to borrow confidence from her, that version of like what I was doing when I was 21 or whatever.
It's mental, isn't it? I don't know what it's like if we just didn't think about it as much. I don't know what.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like that kind of, not naive, because obviously you were, but to an extent, just be like, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think we know too much now. We're like, well, it might be fine, but there'll be all these hurdles.
Yeah. But it was so good. So basically, I used to go down all these casting stuff with my mum, and until eventually one hit. And this was actually through me. So my mum wouldn't let me out the weekend, basically, until I had posted up my YouTube video, which was me singing, I know. So I was always like dying to get out. And then she's like, right, you've not posted up your YouTube video. So she'd video it and pop it up for me. And that's what one of the guys, the heads from Sony, was shown to the team in the meeting, and was like, we need to get this girl in the band. I'd met him years before from a meeting that my mum had brought me to, and he'd remembered me. So it was me singing Shake Your Tail Feather, which was on there. And that kind of got me auditioning into the band, and then we went through some of the stages, and then I was in Neon Jungle, and it was pretty much, straight rocketed. We went on like school tours, and then our first single went to I think it was number 8, I think, and then
Wow.
the second one was like number 3. So it was like we pretty much went from school to like
Not to
in the
60.
charts and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then I remember we got a call to do Victoria's Secrets, and I didn't even really know. I knew Victoria's Secret models, but I didn't really know like what it was
What
as
the brand
such.
was.
And then
Yeah.
we got flown over there to New York, and you're sitting there with all these gorgeous women models, and there was one really sexy guy as well, but he's obviously older than me, but I was like, oh, think you've got a chance. But yeah, we've done that, and that's when you really think, oh my God, this is mental.
Did I get here?
Yeah, literally.
That's wild.
So it was definitely like a roller coaster of emotions, but it was interesting because it was like that one of the highest points of my life. It was also one of the lowest points of my life as well, because I literally had lost my dad a year prior to it, so I was going through that kind of grief at the same time. It was hard. I mean, I think again, look to myself like 16 at the time, you don't realise, I guess, what you're taking on. But it was good. But I'd feel like that's actually, weirdly enough, was when I said to myself, I thought, oh, do you know what? I think I can do acting, because I felt almost as it was a bit of an act of, you're having to go to all these things day in and out
put
and all that.
Face on, like, absolutely.
And then obviously you're still grieving, like, but it was a blessing that I actually had the chance to grieve as well, because being in a big family, like, my mum and all my siblings, they all had to kind of hold it together, because as soon as one person goes, the rest of them goes, you know what I mean? Whereas I did have time to go through it.
Important figure in your family. That's so sad. Yeah, I'm sorry that happened at any age.
Thanks.
Gosh, but at such a young age as well. And so that transition, or not, I'm saying transition, it's not a transition, but that kind of avenue into acting, again, that was just like, well, I'm going to...
funny enough, I feel like I've always kind of, like, I don't know if it's just me saying it and putting it out to the universe, but I always felt like acting's going to come through music.
Okay,
and it did, really. Yeah. It didn't come through anything big, but it just it came through a music manager who was wanting to manage me at the time. It never worked out, but I guess the reason for me meeting him was he introduced me to an agent from United Agents, and then only just signed on to them through COVID, and then I booked my first job right away, and he was like, oh, this doesn't happen. And then I was like, oh my God, what do you mean? And then I found out that it doesn't happen, because then I was like, jobless for like a year and a half.
The amount of actors that I know I've spoken to, you're no different. Like keep the faith, keep the faith. It'll all happen. It all happens when it's meant to. And acting for screen predominantly, rather than acting on stage.
Yeah, I mean, I would do stage stuff as well. Actually, I was going to do a show, Miss Saigon, but it never worked out because I had something else that came through. But
just going to do Miss Saigon. I mean, that is the joy in terms of you being a wonderful singer, is that you have that other potential avenue.
That's a dream. I'd love to do both.
Right,
that's like really what I want to do.
So musical theatre.
Well, I'd love to do something on screen. Like, so I don't know if you've seen the movie Dreamgirls. Yeah. So like that kind of, that's like my ideal role.
Become things.
Yeah,
the world.
that would be
Get
like
in that bunk bed. Start seeing it. Make it happen.
Well, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But I've been doing a lot of different screen stuff now, which is mostly kind of in the world of crime and that, which is fun, because I love dressing up. I'm a big kid anyway, so I love dressing up and all that kind of stuff. So it's like you get to do that and do it seriously.
Love it. And all the while, you're like, oh yeah, just like 1, 2, miss a few. I've just skipped the fact that I'm just a radio presenter and a TV presenter. Wow.
Do you know, I just kind of fell into that, to be honest. I got it's funny because when I was at Neon Jungle, I was 16, 19, 20 or something like that. And because I was only a Scottish girl and I was living in London, nobody could understand me. And I was straight out of school, so my accent was a lot more thick. Okay. And I remember like going into, it was driving me nuts, because you go into a shop, you'd ask for something simple, like, can I get a bag of ice, please? And a bag of what? A bag of ice. And then like my English pal would have to translate, and it used to annoy me, it used to grind my gears. And then they wouldn't take your money as well.
Literally, you took the first time I was like, you say that phrase, this is legal tender.
Literally, they're on Google, see?
Totally.
So we would do all these interviews, and then somebody would ask me a question, and I'd give them a nice lengthy answer, and then they would look at the girl next to me, one of get the bandmates, and say, somebody translate for her, please. So eventually I was just like, what's the point even speaking here? So I stopped speaking, and I got this kind of thing in my head that, not that I stopped speaking completely, but I just, most of the times you just let other people answer it.
I'm just going to speak for me.
And I kind of developed this thing that I thought, right, nobody can understand me here. And then I feel like obviously you're having to slow down, and you're very aware. I was aware all the time. Even just jumping back to another person I worked for years prior, he wanted to put me through speech therapy when I was when I was.
I mean, we're
15.
laughing, but I'm like, hello.
It was mental, yeah.
It's actually not funny.
And then, like, I was
this
only
is
young.
representation of different like voices on TV
Exactly.
and radio and the industry in general.
But it was crazy, and I remember speaking to a guy from Edinburgh there, and he went through speech therapy. I kid you not, he sounded English at the end of it, and I was thinking to myself, "Oh no, that's going to be me." Yeah, well, actually, that's when I ended up getting a job after.
Not to diss anybody else's accent, but
no,
like,
I know, but you want to be yourself. Yeah. So anyway, I had developed this thing that I thought, right, nobody can understand me. I should, is what it is. So then when I got a DM basically from someone that worked in BBC, and he said, "Oh, do you fancy coming for a voice test for a radio show?" I was like, all right, why not? And then I popped down, and then, I managed to get the job. And then even doing that, I thought to myself, it was just like a big F you to everybody that had said to me that you can't speak properly and all this. Yeah. So it was good to be like, all right, actually, I'm getting paid to talk now. So that was like a real switch, and it was a real confidence boost, actually.
Absolutely.
That kind of, I didn't even realise I had so much of a thing in my mind about, chatting and things like that. So that really helped. And then from the radio, started doing some voiceover work for TV, and then started presenting. So it's all kind of just... I think the main thing for me was just saying yes to opportunities.
Interesting. Yeah. You're not somebody who gets in your own way by the sounds of things.
I feel like probably mentally I do, yes, at first, because I'm like, and then I think to myself, what you got to lose? And then you'll just do it anyway. And then for me, I feel like I'm uncomfortable 90% of my life. And I feel like it's a good thing. 10% is probably when I'm at home chilling, watching Netflix or whatever, or doing my music. But 90% of the time, I feel like I'm putting myself into uncomfortable situations, and I think that's good because it means you're growing, and you're not kind of staying stagnant. So that's kind of like that's really what I'm. If I feel like if it makes me question it, if it makes me feel like, is this going to be a challenge, I should do it.
Go for it. Yeah. Because the comfort's nice for maybe like 5-10 minutes, and then you just get out your feet.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's like, what's next?
It's somebody who likes to challenge themselves and likes to take on, and that uncomfortable, like there is some sort of like almost comfort in it, going, because I know I'm going to get something from this, I'm going to grow, I'm going to become like a better version of myself.
Exactly.
But it's not without its like trials and tribulations, I would imagine.
And even like I've learned, like even if if it doesn't go anywhere, the best or the worst situation is going to be you're going to grow from. You're going to learn lessons. So it's going to be a win at the end of the day anyway. So it's been something that I feel like been drilled into me since I was young. Even like I've had a lot of awkward encounters where it was so the first ever label that I started to work with, it was Work Experience. I used to go down there, I remember like my siblings being like, "Oh, you're the golden sibling, mum allows you time off school," and I'm like, but they still line me up, but I'm like, I'm not the golden child, you're the golden child. But anyway, I was Work Experience, so I'd go down to London, and they would pay for me to go down, and I'd do the dishes and the dishwasher, and go and get the food and make teas, just do the errands basically. But one day a week I would get to write. So that's how I started kind of getting into it.
Okay.
Funny enough, I feel like I had to unlearn that way of writing, because it was almost like mathematics the way they'd done it. It was weird.
Prescriptive.
Yeah, it was it was like almost like joining a puzzle. But I forgot where I was going with that.
Just like that kind of work experience, like different situations that you've had to be in. Like,
I was talking about. That's what I was going to say. This is what I mean. See, it's coming out. See,
that's good. I love it. This is, we like tangents. So good.
One of the first kind of awkward or one of the first challenges I guess I had to face was telling the guy that kind of took a chance on me. He was in working for Sony, but he was a different company under Sony.
Okay.
And I was like, this is it. I'm in a big label now. I was only washing the dishes, but you just think, this is it. And then when I got the chance to go to Neon Jungle, I had to travel all the way down there and tell him that I wasn't going to work with him anymore. So I remember my mum saying to me again, I was in the bunk bed and I was like rolling about, "Mum, I'm not letting go." And it was like, "Shereen, this is a lesson. You need to learn to face up to people face to face and have the respect that he's given to you." So I remember I crap myself the full way down. I remember getting the bus to the station, and this train for Lanark to Motherwell to London Euston to Guildford, and all the whole way I'm like shaking like a leaf. And then he phoned me. I remember he phoned me, and I thought, God, I can't say it now. I'm halfway down here, so I was like, I'll see you there, mate. And then got there, and I was only in the room for 5 minutes, but it was such a big lesson, because I remember him saying to me, he's like, thanks so much for coming down, and I really appreciate you saying that to my face. So
nice one.
I feel like it taught me a lot for going forward.
Mum was very wise.
Yeah,
very wise. But yeah, tricky, and nobody likes those awkward.
That's horrible.
And they're just inevitably going to come. And like being this age, I'm like, surely we'll figure it out. And I'm like, no, by the way,
it's still just as horrible,
like,
isn't it?
Somebody crashed into my car yesterday, and I was like, I don't want to have to deal with this adult malarkey. Like, do you know what I mean? Just like stuff you're like, I guess. Yeah,
that's what I feel. I feel like when you're younger, you always look to your older peers and your cousins or whatever, and you think, oh, they've got it together. And then you get to this age, and you're like, oh, we're all just pretending.
We're just all playing the shops. We're literally all just playing the shops. And the thing is about you, because like we're saying, like the industry, it's like this massive umbrella, but actually they're all very different. There's I guess there's transferable skills. Of course there is, music and radio and TV. But actually the world of radio, because I was speaking to Robin Richards the other week there, and she went in through TV and then is now on radio, because it was kids TV that she started in.
Was it kids TV too?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Totally. And very different skill set in a lot of ways, and like in terms of the fast-paced kind of nature of how these things work and all the kind of technical aspect.
Yeah.
You're just, I guess, thrown into the deep end with some of these things.
Pretty much all of it, really. Apart from singing, because I grew up listening to Dad. But even with that, still, like, you're only going to know until you're on stage, and you have to learn yourself.
Yeah.
But everything else has just been, I've had literally zero experience, which is mental, because you end up getting a wee bit of imposter syndrome, because you're like, you'll audition and you'll do the work and then you'll get the job, and you're like, yes, and then you'll be on screen.
I've actually got to do it now.
Yeah, and then you'll be on screen with these people that have been working for years, and they've been to, theatre schools or drama schools or whatever, and then you're like, oh, God. And so I'll just say, listen, guys, I'm a virgin, please. Treat me nicely.
Sanjeev Kohli was sitting there the other week saying the same thing about his acting career, because he was like, I did a maths degree, so I'm not a trained
loads
actor.
of stuff and look at
exactly. Do you know what I mean? And it's the same with you. I'm sitting there going, you don't need to feel like you're an imposter, because you wouldn't be. The thing is, you wouldn't be getting the jobs. You wouldn't be asked to do things if you weren't talented and able to do them.
That's just reminding yourself. That's what I think to myself, and then. You just got to remind yourself once you get it, and it's like, actually, and I think it's more when you're on set or whatever, or you're filming something and they're saying they're going to change the lens to this and that, and they're going to do a dirty shot, and I'm like, hee. And then I realise no one else is laughing, and I'm like, oh, it's actually a thing. So it's all those wee bits that you have to learn through.
I remember a pal of mine at school, she got a job working telly, like some sort of researcher or something, like, and we were all a bit like, all right, I tell you, like, is that right? We didn't see that in our, like, that wasn't on the bingo card kind of thing. And I remember saying, like, they'd phoned her up to ask her for, and it was a big TV, but I'm not going to name what the programme was. And because they were like, oh, wonder if it was her. And they were like, do you have this camera, this microphone, and all the time? And she was like, yep. And then put the phone down and was just like, right, I need to. Literally, don't know what they said, but I need to figure this out. I need to get all this equipment. And she did it.
Did she?
Yeah. And I'm like, well, I guess there's an element of faking it to make it, or faking it in your own head of going like, I just need to like, because you underestimate yourself, I guess, all the time in terms of your skills and your ability and all those experience you've had up to that point. You're armed with loads of information that you just don't realise you can access it.
It's just believing in yourself, really. And I feel like the older I get, I'm more like prone to doing that. Like I was always, because going back to being shy, you'd be. It's just very within myself. Didn't want to sing in front of anybody, although I wanted to be a singer. So it's wee things like that. And then I remember like the first time I had to sing in front of like my family were coming over, and I was like, right, I'll just stand in the room next door and you go in there and close the door. I'm like, what's that all about?
I think it's always harder though performing in front of people you know.
Yeah, or intimate gigs. I hate intimate gigs. I mean, I do like them, but at the same time, when you can see everybody's face and you're this close, it's like, oh God. So I much prefer like being on a bigger stage, and then it's just you can just see lights and you're just looking into the light. And you're
just
like,
give me an arena, guys. I'll be fine with the hydro. That's fine.
I'll be all right with that. But it's definitely believing in yourself, manifesting, and having hope. And I do think like keeping the childlike version of yourself alive, like that's such an important thing that I feel like a lot of people forget, or like maybe it gets drilled out of them because of life. But keeping those childlike things alive is
Of course, and working in kids' telly, you'll definitely keep the child like...
Honestly, it's so good, yeah. It's like getting paid to be a child, basically. It's so good.
I had some young people that came on the show maybe about 2 years ago or something, and they just had like the best time. They were just like buzzing, like, and but again, like that kind of fast-paced nature of kids' TV and the energy that you need to bring.
Well, that's taught me so much as well. That's like 2.5 hours live that we do on Saturday Mashup, and it's like the last Saturday morning TV that goes out live, really. So I'm like really blessed to be. There's a lot of like a line of like massive presenters that have been through this process with child working on kids' TV. But it's not really happening now, so you're getting a lot of people for Love Island, whatever, going on, and then they've got to learn again on the job on a higher scale. So, like, it's really, really, I'm very blessed to be able to, like, one of the last people to kind of go through that old school process of it. And yeah, let's like just listen to the producer, you know, be chatting, and you're like, okay, drop sequence 29, and, you know, ask us a question, and you're having a conversation, so all that kind of stuff. It's like that, you know, you're thrown into the deep end. And I remember watching Joe do it with the previous presenter Harps, and they were great, and I was thinking to myself, how the hell did they do that? And you see the size of the script that you get the night before, and then you do it live the next day, and I thought, how did they do that? And then I remember they called me in one time for like a depping position, basically. And you're like, yeah, lying, no, I'll do it. And I guess I didn't know the show because I was watching it all the time and I was doing the voiceovers. And then you just get thrown into it. I didn't even know how to read the scripts. I thought, what's SEQ 54? And obviously it means sequence. And I was like, what's this? And what?
I say that?
Yeah. And then you're sitting in the hotel the night before, pure panicking. And then it went, and it was brilliant. Like, literally. And then we don't have auto-cue or nothing. It's just what they call it is idiot boards, which is just big massive boards with somebody else.
That's what I mean.
It's so fun. It's so good. And then like you get into the swing of it, and then when you know the format of the show, it's easiest. And then it's pretty much like this. You're just chatting away, and you can. There's a lot of freedom within it if you want to chat and ask a different question. Unless you're crunched for time, and they're like, move on. You're like, all right.
That someday in your ear malarkey. That I remember we did the STV appeal once, and we were on the kind of live show with Lorraine Kelly, and like that someone was speaking in her ear, some producer was talking to her, and then she was trying to obviously interact with the crowd, and I was like, whoa, that's full on. And they hadn't even started yet. Do you know what I mean? Like they hadn't even like put the cameras on yet. Wild.
Sometimes I'm just like, turn it down.
Sorry, what was that you said? I was saying I had to say that bit to camera at the start, and I'm like, people in telly, your jobs are safe. Like that's the most stressful. I used auto-cue recently, and I was like, where has this been all my life? I just,
so good,
I just need to read.
Yeah. Well, the thing is with auto-cue though as well, it's like, you like, I always, who was telling me, I can't think it might have been David, was just saying, make sure you know it before, because you don't want to be too like kind of thing.
Well, like
but then it's so much easier. So we always do our auto-cue on a pre-record day, so for like doing something for Christmas, and it's always on like the Sunday, so we were already knackered from the week before. And it's like, this is like the saving grace. It's so good. It's so good. But that's like twice a year, so it's a treat.
The rest of the time it's learn off the seat of your back. Like it's so impressive, like that alone. But then to think that alongside that you're doing radio, and then you're still keeping your own music alive and putting out music. Incredible.
I know, it's good. It's good. I just I feel like the start of this year. I was saying before, just saying yes to everything. I was pretty much doing that. But the start of this year, I've started to say no to more things. I just thought to myself, right, I'm going to only do what I'm passionate about, and just start steering the ship a bit more. I feel like I was starting to get contacts and, get your name out there.
What is the focus for you, or what is the kind of...
So mainly, I think like... The main thing that I was missing really like the last couple of years is because I was focusing so much other stuff was music. It's sort of weird. Music. And I feel like that was, again, it's like my baby. So like not having that in my life, I was just like, I'm doing all these great things, but why am I not feeling fulfilled? So that's because I'm not doing the
in your soul.
Yeah, so I need to do more of that. So that and acting really. If I could do more TV presenting stuff, perfect. And like, I'm kind of doing like depping and stuff like that for radio, but my main focus right now is just doing acting and singing.
Love it.
Yeah.
And I guess it is just almost like disciplining yourself to be like making that time in it. Like as somebody, like I used to sing when I was younger and then just like totally abandoned it. I mean, every time I see my dad, he still goes, you playing your guitar? Picked up your guitar recently? I'm like, don't ask that question because I'm going to say no. But like that thing, you just like almost have to like make the time for it just to be like, oh, I'm going to sing for 5 minutes, or I'm going to sit and write a song, or I'm just going to like in the car put something on and sing along to it, because otherwise everything else just gets in the way. And it's all lovely stuff and it's all great. But yeah, if it's not...
How do you feel when you play the guitar?
So I'm definitely not a guitarist, but I play enough to basically allow me to sing kind of thing.
Nice.
So... yeah, I was never, like, I used to go to guitar lessons at school, but my guitar teacher, lovely man, not going to say his name, but, like, he was a blether a bit like me, so we just used to talk a lot. And he'd played for, like, everybody, like Sarah Brightman and all that.
Oh, wow.
So he had amazing stories. I think that's when I really started the podcast, when I was at, like, high school, and I'd be like, hey, tell me that story, tell me about this thing. And then I'd leave, and I'm like, oh, we have actually not played guitar.
Oh, God.
We've actually not learned it. So I know about 7 chords if you're lucky, but yeah, just enough to let me sing. But that, for me, that's something, like, because dance became my job, you know, so it's like the singing was first, actually, and a lot of ways singing and music for me was first. Obviously that's where the love of dance came. I'm pretty sure you can obviously dance as well then.
No.
I'm like, you can do it. I don't think there's anything you can't do.
Well, dancing's one of them. No, I've got a bit of rhythm. I feel like if someone was to teach me, like if I was to spend some time with you,
I'm just putting out there, safe when, you know, the
yeah,
next
by the
music
way,
video if you want a choreographer.
Actually, I am looking, so I'll give you a shout.
Listen, I'm there.
One of the things that I'm wanting to do, it's one of my goals for this year. I know we're in, what, are we in October now? I think we are. So I'm lots of months.
Still good time.
I'm a bit late, but it was one of the things I wanted to do this year was do more dancing, because I do love dancing, but I'm just, you know, I put the music on at night and I'll dance away, and I look terrible. I look really, really bad. I'll catch myself in the mirror. No, I look really bad, I do, but I feel great. So I'm just like, I'd love to do it for the passion.
That's absolutely it. It's not about what it looks like, it's about how it feels, 100%.
Me and my wee sister were doing some heels classes in Glasgow, actually.
Nice.
I only went like 2 or 3 times, and it was a beginner's one.
Great.
But everyone else there was not a bloody beginner. So me and my wee sister
some of these
are like,
videos, no, like professionals.
nah.
I'm like, right.
So I ended up stopped going, because it was just like, she was like, oh, you know, you're ready to move on to the next bit, and everyone would say yes, and me and my sister are looking at each other like, no, can you go back? Literally. So it was just too fast paced for us.
Okay.
So if I can get an actual beginner's class, I'll
Well, it's
go.
nice to do things like just for you in it, and just like, again, that kind of feeding the soul kind of thing. I mean, I can't even imagine the highlights reel for you, the things that you've done. If you're in such a short period of time, by the way, as well, because you're a very young person. Like
28 now.
Wow, like that, you've achieved so much career-wise, and like ticked off so many of your goals and your aspirations. There are particular moments where you're like, whoa, that was huge, whether it be you got to work with somebody that you were like, you know, they were a real kind of icon for me, or somebody that taught you a lesson, or just like, because I guess people will look at your Instagram and it is a highlight reel, because that's what we do in social media. But for you, what have been the biggest highlights?
I feel like going back to when I was younger, spending that quality time with my dad and actually doing the, you know, breathing exercises and training. Like I used to walk on stage with like a robot like this. He's like, "What are you doing? You don't walk like that." So all those like simple lessons, like, and used to do my head in at the time, because I would make a mistake, you put it right back to the start again. I'm like, come on, Dad. But now I realise how much that's like helped me with everything else. So definitely that's a highlight. And then Victoria's Secrets, when we done that was a highlight. That was a big thing. Getting to sing with my brothers when we got to the semi-finals in XFactor. I mean, that was a mental experience, but definitely.
That, I mean, congratulations, that was huge. That's such a huge achievement. Like, and knowing a wee bit of behind the scenes of those kind of programmes, it's intense and full on. Like, it's a lot to put yourself out there in the world. You just totally smashed it.
Oh, thank you. I feel like I always cringe when I watch one. Well, to be fair, I don't watch them back. Even when we done it, I thought, oh no, because we went onto the show and we were singing. What was our first song? Was Prince, I Want to Be Your Lover. And then we had Running Beyonce as a second, which we didn't really... No, we had another one as a second, I think, and Beyonce was our third, so we had less practice on it.
Yep.
And anyway, before we went in 5 minutes, we were like, oh, you can't sing Prince, you need to sing this one. And we were like scrambling, we were like, oh, we need a minute to go through it. He says, right, no, and you go. So then we were like, you're already sweating your pan, and it was like the hottest day of the year, and like... had whatever the record was, but I remember Jay, bless him, he's going to hate me for saying this, but he was sweating so much he had to run to the toilet and dry his armpits in the dryer.
We've all been there, dude. We've all been there. Been there, done it.
It was literally so hot. And then we were scrambling and singing this song. So from the start it was kind of like soulful stuff we were doing, and we had our direction, but then by the end it was more like pop, and you know, they had us singing like Little Mix and stuff like that, which just wasn't the direction we wanted to go in. So I felt like we kind of changed, and it took us a long time to get back to where we originally originally wanted to go. But again, all the lessons that we've learned in that, and then like the high intensity of the programme that really taught you a lot. But I don't watch back in the stuff because I don't feel like it was a true representation of what we wanted. And then also just the vocals just weren't that great because, you know, I remember one of the weeks we were singing, it's a Spanish week, I think it was, and they basically every week we would get up when we were on live, the songs would get changed.
Wow.
Because they couldn't get cleared. It would always happen. I can't remember when we'd done the show. If it was like Sundays or something, it went live, and on the Saturday night they would change the songs. You're thinking, you know what I mean? Yeah. And you're trying to learn the lyrics, and this song had Spanish in it, and I was like, I don't speak Spanish.
Right.
Like, you're going to have to get rid of that. So they only kept a wee bit of it, and then honestly, we were like, "Ooh, da vida Buddha," like we were like singing in it, and
yeah, of course,
it was so bad. But I think it was Unriget. Was it Unriget? I can't remember. But it was pretty much like that. And you're thinking to yourself, "I'm going to go up on stage here with my brothers, and none of us even know what we're singing." And that's like fake it till you make it, and then that was horrible. I
guess nice to have your brothers there and be part of that experience because that's obviously a really vulnerable situation to be on your own.
Yeah,
but equally, all three of you are coming at from your own personalities and your own way of coping with things. So I can imagine it was a full-on time, that.
But I definitely having like the boys there, but that was a whole experience for itself. I remember we done like the rehearsals, and we went in like singing together.
Yes.
And then they do the whole thing, you know, with the show, they want to split you up and all that kind of stuff.
A bit of drama.
They love a bit of drama. So they started doing that, and then they were like saying to my brothers, right, Jay, you play piano, Kyle, you do DJ. And it was a good idea for like some of the stuff, but we didn't want to always do it. And we done this rehearsal, so we were thinking, right, we're going to practice. So we've got me up front, and then we go in, and there's not a piano, there's not a desk in that. And Jay was like, he was racing because obviously we all laugh about it now, but at the time we're like, what are we going to do? And you're proper panicking, and then Jay's they just says to mime. So he's like, I'm not miming, looking like a right plonker. So you have to sit, just do this. And then look at Kyle, and then Kyle's getting right in there. So we laugh about it now, honestly.
Like getting out the spoons,
literally. But it was like so many good memories, and
of course,
like, it was so fun as well.
I mean, not everybody can say that they've done that with their siblings.
Yeah, it was. Honestly, there's no one I'd rather do it with. Like just being in that kind of environment with your brothers, and then going on tour, and obviously you're only Scottish people there, so like they're Scottish and Irish, but the Irish boys are a bit younger, so it was just like having a good time. And like when we were like kids again, we used to stay in bunk beds in the XFactor house, so that was, everyone used to come over our room for a drink. We were like the naughty room,
party room.
But it's so good, so many good memories, and I feel like again, like you're in that high intensity area, and you've got, you know, people fixing your hair, you've got your in-ears in, you're trying to remember your lyrics, somebody's putting your mucking about your t-shirt, somebody's trying to tie your shoes, and you're just like, could everyone just give me a second, please?
This is my space, this is yours, don't invade it.
But you learn so much, it's good.
I bet. And that's the thing, like, about that, you take, like you're saying, no, I don't watch your back or cringe or whatever. You went on and did that, and that's a huge achievement.
I'll watch it back one day, just not any day soon.
Honestly, I'm so impressed with you, because again, it's that putting yourself out there, whether it's like in your local karaoke or whether it's on a huge stage. It's a big deal to put yourself out there in the world and say, this is me and this is the thing that I love to do. And you continue to do it, and you're continuing to soar and doing it beautifully. So like you should be so proud of yourself. Like, it's amazing.
Thanks. I feel like you just now I'm trying to slow down a wee bit more, like mentally, and just as I was saying to you before, like the gratitude thing that I do at night,
that.
just. Or
so
even,
do you just like, so what is it in terms of the gratitude, like just things you're grateful for that day?
Yeah, a bit of both really. Okay. So the thing I've only just started doing,
like getting some tips off you.
Yeah, no, it's good. So like,
what am I doing?
Yeah, gratitude, like for like whenever you've got the time really at night time, just to say what you're grateful for in life, and you know, each night it can change because you know your experiences change through the day. But one of the things that I've just started doing, like I'm only like 3 nights into it with me and my partner, is what are you proud of today? So we'll catch up with each other and meet up sometimes like ships in the night. So he's down in London at the moment. So that's a nice way to connect. And I was just like, what do you do? And I was already driving, when I was driving on the way here, I thought, right, this is what I'm proud of the day. I'm driving to Glasgow. And I know it's only a wee thing, but I'm not a confident driver. So like, that was one of my...
Well done you, it's a huge thing.
That was one of my things that was going to be on the list for tonight. So it's just, again, checking in daily, because sometimes you can do so much things, or you've got a busy day or whatever it is, or maybe you've not even done anything, and it's just like checking in with yourself and say, what made me feel good today, what didn't make me feel good today, and it's just kind of reminding yourself, resetting, because you don't realise the amount of energy that you take on to the next day, and then you get loaded, and it's just, sometimes it's just removing those blocks.
And you're giving so much of yourself. You're very much the person who's been looked at, listened to.
Yeah.
You're giving so much of yourself and being on, I feel like, and that's a lot. Do you know what I mean? So you need to like give back to yourself.
Yeah.
And whatever that looks like, however that needs to be for you, because you can't, you can't pour from an empty cup or whatever they say. Do you know what I mean? So it is important to look after yourself.
My mum always says, so you get 10 gold coins at the start of the day. You wake up and say you've got kids, you give one gold coin to the kids. You take them to school, that's one gold coin to the teachers or whatever, and then you go to your work, you're giving all these coins away, and at the end of the day, you're exhausted. It's because you've not given anything back to yourself. So she says it's always important you keep at least one coin for yourself. And it's just a good analogy and good way to look at it, because it's like, actually, just give. And so that's a really important thing. Like, just see if it is just like a 15-minute meditation at night, or a stretch in the morning, or writing down in your journal, whatever it is, whatever, a walk, whatever makes you feel good, really. But it's just giving back into yourself. So it's such an important thing. So I'm trying to do that now.
That's beautiful. I love that. It sounds to me like you come from a really supportive family who, like, your parents, like, I think they're amazing.
They're honestly, like, I feel like
I don't know them, and I only know you, but I genuinely do. I'm like because they've instilled so much. You should have. Oh gosh,
she said she was going to, but she was like, "Oh, I need to go back and get a shower." And she's like, "Feel a mess."
Bless her. That would be so nice to me, because I'm so impressed by you. Like, what a credit you are to your parents, but like your parents, like they've done an amazing job.
They honestly, they've worked their asses off through their life, and they literally just gave everything to their kids, and like, whenever I have kids, if I can be even just half of what they've done for us, like, that's like just so much of the lessons and the core memories that we've had growing up. I'm like, right, and I didn't realise, always knew I had like a loving childhood, but I didn't realise how lucky you were until you start growing up and then speaking to other people, and you're like, oh my god, damn, like. And it wasn't even that we were sheltered in that way, it's just like, they stayed together until my dad passed away, and they'd probably still be together now if my dad was here, and like, even just being together. So we were really, really lucky. And then obviously 6 kids, that must have been a lot to handle, do you know what I mean?
Wow, yeah, absolutely. But I mean, we've only scratched the surface in terms of what you've achieved today and the person that you are, and I hugely appreciate you being here and giving so much. You're such an open person. You were saying, like, before we started, you were like just an open book, and you genuinely are, and I massively appreciate you.
Wait till you have a whiskey, and you'll be like, you won't be able to shut me up.
Like, there's only water in that cup, I promise.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
But like, whatever you choose to go into next, because it will be your choice, and you'll manifest that, and you'll make it a reality. I wish you all the joy.
Thank you.
Take all the joy from it, because you give so much joy to other people with everything that you do. You're insanely talented.
I appreciate it.
But
you make me all shy again.
No, but I'm getting the vibe that you're just the loveliest person. You've got a good soul, a good heart, and that comes from like your upbringing, and like you're a hard worker, a grafter, and you're Braw and brave, for sure.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Shereen, this has been a pleasure. Total joy. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Oh, I could do that forever. But we can't.
I know. We need to meet for a wee glass of wine one night.
And the cameras are off, and now we're just chatting more. But no, thank you so much for joining us. I think you'll agree that was an amazing insight to Shereen's life and work thus far. If you haven't subscribed, please do all the buttons and the likes and all that jazz, guys. And thank you again to our amazing sponsors, and we'll join you next time on the Braw and the Brave. Thanks for now. Bye.